So hello sir, good evening. So this is my video presentation for my SRS software requirements specification for my personal portfolio website for lab number 3 for ComSci 128 lab. So for this SRS document, so on the title page you have this one, the software requirement specification for personal portfolio website. So version 1 approved. Prepared by Michael Vincent Dosado for ComSci 128 Lab in the University of the Philippines, Visayas, January 14. Okay, so for the next page, we have the table of contents. So right here. So for these, for the contents specified here, the table of contents and the the rest of the document indicated here. Um, They are all based from the website link that you provided, sir, on the LMS, which was per Perforce. Yeah, the Perforce link on how to write SRS document. So everything that was said, or the main points or main and sub points indicated on the website or on the reference link. I followed, no? Whatever they said, no? So, ayun. Okay, so, ayun ito. Alright. So, for these SRS documents, we have four main points. We have the introduction, the overall description, system features, and the external interface requirements, and some appendix. Alright, then we have the sub points. We have the purpose, document conventions, project scope, internet audience reference, users' needs, assumptions, and dependencies, login feature, registration feature, and other interfaces. All right. So for the first main point, which is the introduction, so we have five sub points. So for the first sub point, which is the purpose. So the purpose of this document is to provide a detailed description of this project, which is personal portfolio website. So it will be explaining the main features of the product or the system or the project, its interface and functionality. So yeah, so basically, so it will, even though the website is just very simple, so this document will be intended for both the stakeholders and the developers. Stakeholders like, so for in this case it's the instructor, yeah, which is you, sir, and the developers, of course, me, the student. So which in this, oh yeah, so here, so which in this case intended for both the instructor and student, which will be presented for approval and grading. Then the next subpoint, which is document convention. So the font used is Helvetica with font size 11 and 1-inch margin on every side. So my 1-inch margin, oh here. So yes, 1-inch margin on every side. Oh, nice. All right. Okay. 1-inch margin on every side. So next is the project scope. So the software or project specified is a personal portfolio website that runs as a promotional website for the developer mentioned. So basically, what uh, what the project is all about, or what the website is. All right, and so this aims to be semi resume, so like an extension of a resume that showcases the developer skills and interests intended for potential employers or business partners. Right. So yeah. So next we have the intended audience. So the primary intended audience for this document is the instructor for the subject, the project, or the software itself. In addition, other intended audiences for the document are employers, business partners, potential clients, developers, managers, and other personnel with technical knowledge related to the project or this document. So yeah, so the primary, of course, primary intended audience is user, the instructor for the subject. Yeah, and ideally, the SRS document is intended for for employers, the business partners, or potential clients, developers. So when in the industry, yeah, so you present the SRS to these kinds of people. All right. So for next, the last sub point for the introduction is so the reference. So the actual portfolio website runs on this localhost um, colon 5000, so which is just a local link, no, local server lang. Yeah, you just run it through the CMD terminal. So we have the Flask Python, so where everything you download Flask to and the documentation. And we have the MariaDB for the database and Python, of course, for the programming language used. And so where most of the tips and uh, stuff for the HTML and the CSS to complete the website. So next is the overall description. So for the subpoints, we have only two as instructed. It's a reference website which per force. So it was indicated there the user needs and the assumptions and dependencies. Wait, oh, okay. Sorry. Okay. So first, for the user needs, so the users of this product, of course, will be employers, business partners, potential clients who are interested, on the featured developer, which will be me or the website owner. So the users will only be required to log in on their created account prior to viewing the portfolio website. So so ideally, if the website is already deployed on the internet or has already a permanent domain name, yeah. So the viewers will just need to create an account and just log in to a website. So that's all the new user has to do. So next we have the assumptions and dependencies. So the project is assumed to be running on an updated Windows framework or operating system. Yeah. And the technology used is not assumed to be the latest. Well, yes, because the specs of my laptop where I working on is Celeron, so uh, it's not cutting edge like other gaming laptops. So yeah, so it's not to be latest, but limited to such technology that supports Python 3, Flask, MariaDB, HTML, CSS. In short, limited to technology that supports all the required, not necessary tools for the website to run. Alright, so that's for overall description. And for the system features, we have just one system features. So basically there are two like main features GED, no? of the website. These are the like core did, no? As instructed. So first is the login feature. So description priority. So this lets the user login. Wait. Right, so this lets the user log in to their respective created accounts before entering the main page. So this feature is a high priority feature as instructed by the evaluator or instructor. So yes, no, these were so the login feature was one of the high priority features, no, as required for lab 1. So functional requirements. So since the login feature checks the existence of the user's created account on the database, which was MariaDB. So this will require that the database servers are running, which are the Apache and MySQL modules through the SAMP control panel. So the website server must be already running prior to any actions carried out by the user. And so basically should the website server must not already be running before any of these things happen. No? So in case of a typo error, where the user is given an incorrect username or password, the system shall notify the user of such error and the website shall refresh and redirect the user on the same page. Yeah, so redirect the user on the same page, which is the login page. So next we have the registration feature. So here in the description and priority, right? So this lets the user register, create their respective accounts before logging in towards the main page. So this feature is also a high priority feature as instructed by the evaluator or instructor. Yeah. So for the functional requirements, so since the registration feature first checks the existence of the user's created username on the database. So yes, as explained on lab 1, how the registration feature works. And so it checks if the created username already exists or not. So if it doesn't exist, so if it doesn't exist, then it will proceed to create that certain username given by the user forms. So before proceeding on creating, yeah, and writes on the database, the information filled out by the user in the given forms on the register page. Oh. So this will require that the database servers are running, of course, for the same thing, Apache and MySQL through the SAMP control panel. So the website server must also be running prior to any actions carried out by the user. So in case of typo error, so right here, where the user is given an empty entry on any of the forms required, or if the user's input on the password section does not match the input on the confirm password section, the system shall notify the user of such error and the website shall refresh and redirect the user on the same page, which is the register page, registration page. Alright, and last part ba? Yeah, last part. Okay. So for the external interface requirements, so it said here now to provide some images or pictures or some uh, screen screen captures now of the interfaces that the user will encounter. So I did just that right here. So this is the screenshot of the main login page. This is the interface for the user when logging in. So these are the respective buttons the user will be interacting with, right? So the login button and the register button. So aside from the text box wherein they will, of course, input their username and password. Yeah. So if we click the register button, so we will be redirected with this new page with the new interface. So we have this um, forms, text boxes to be filled out. So first name, last name, email, password, confirm password, and our enter button right here, register, which will pass on the information on these forms to the database to verify and write on the database. All right. So on the part this part below naman, if we click the login button, so assuming that the account is correct, so you will be redirected here on the main page. Yeah. So this will be the interface. So we have two pictures of the developer. So 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 actually the site is not yet finished now because um, on last semester's ComSci 126, so I made the necessary wireframes that require read and write from the database. So I only so this part right here is where the reading is from the database is used. No? So there's supposed to have a name right here, the name of the current user uh, opening the website. So so when you click these are supposed to be buttons, both of them. But then so there's no page yet to go to when you click both of these buttons. So so our only interface button right here is the logout button. So right here, logout button, and the other logout button when you hover the cursor above it. All right. So next we have the hardware interfaces. So the project supports all versions of device types, but is only limited to devices that support the required front end and back end tools of the project. So so I don't know if you can create a website only on your phone by running Flask on your phone, or so I think it's for desktop or PCs, a laptop or desktop. So for software interfaces, so this portfolio website is connected to a MariaDB database version 10.14.19 database through the SAMP control panel version 3.3.0. The backend framework is supported by Flask version 2.0.1, WorkZug 2.0.1, and the programming language used is Python 3.8.5. So lastly, we have the communications interfaces. So I just put TBD, to be determined, because from what I have learned here, so communication interface, it was related this is related to the FTP protocols, SSH, something something, like how the website communicates with other websites and such. So I have still have no idea yet, no, on how that works or how that affects on a website, because because it is, I don't know, because it is just local or running on a local server. So to be determined. So, and lastly, for the appendix issues list, so of course not yet not yet known or to be resolved, so which is this one. So so I think that will be all for this SRS document presentation. So thank you very much, sir, for watching, and God bless, sir. Thank you.